Hello, so today's verses are Acts 4, verses 5 through 8. Acts 4, verses 5 through 8. Let's get started. Okay, and it came to pass, this is a form worth learning. It is the aorist, because it's got gen, of ginomai. There's an augment. And it came to pass, and procrastinator never comes where it should be translated first. And it came to pass on the morrow, on the next day, to be gathered together. Aorist passive, theta eta tells us aorist passive, i.e. it's an infinitive. To be gathered together, basically. All of that comes out of that one word there. To be gathered together, the rulers of them. The subject, quote unquote, of an infinitive is in the accusative case, and this is accusative. So, and it came to pass on the morrow that the rulers of them were gathered together is kind of a good way to put that all together. Okay? Not only was it the rulers, but also, and the elders, the presbyters, and the grammatarians, grammates, the scribes in Jerusalem. Okay? So they've been in jail overnight, Peter and John. They've been preaching the gospel, and they've healed a lame man. And these leaders, Sadducees and so forth, and elders, so there are probably some Pharisees there too, and scribes, have gathered together. Okay, they got a good night's sleep. You guys stay in jail while we go sleep. And here's a parenthetical remark. Of course, there are no parentheses in Greek, at least not ancient Greek. And Annas, the high priest, and Caiaphas, and John, and Alexander, these are the kinds of people that were there. I have a hunch that they were Sadducees, although there is debate about to what extent the priests were Sadducees. Certainly the Sadducees there seems to be a high overlap between Sadducees and high priestly families and so forth. Of course, there's a little bit of give and take in the biblical records as to whether Caiaphas or Annas is high priest. It's a little peculiar. And of course, there have been some theses advanced about them sharing the high priesthood and so forth. I find it probably the impulse to harmonize we should only take so far. If it's easy to harmonize things and plausible, then let's do it. But there may just be some tensions we can't resolve that we should just let sit in tension. Well, okay, so Annas, the high priest, and Caiaphas, and John, and Alexander, and as many as were from the high priestly race. Of course, it seems a little weird to call the high priest a race, but it just, we might take this as the word kind, as many as were of the high priestly kind, and so forth. But I've translated this way just to bring out this idea of genos as a race or a kind. Not race as we think of race today. I taught a New Testament survey at 12 Stone once, and a woman in the class was taking courses in race at college. And of course, race today is defined different from ethnicity. Ethnicity refers to a certain genetic origin for a person. So I'm in ethnicity, I'm quite mixed. I have some British, a lot of British. I've got some Dutch, I've got some German. So my ethnicity is a little bit mixed. Race tends to have to do with social determiners, like color and so forth. Well, all of that is a bit of a tangent, isn't it? As many as were from the high priestly kind, and having caused them to stand, so I think this is another causative active, having caused them to stand in the midst, they were inquiring. Inquiring minds want to know, what's up, guys? By what power or in what name did you do this, you guys? Again, this is not necessary, humes, because the te has a u in it. So it's a bit of a you guys. Why did you do this? In what name did you do this? Demonstrative pronoun, this. Aorist, sigma alpha. Okay, we're about to find out. In whose name was it done? Then Peter, having been filled of Holy Spirit, said to them, rulers of the people and elders. Okay, And I think that's where I end today. I actually added on verse 8 because it was just too simple to stop at verse 7. And of course, I said in my overview of the week that being filled with the Holy Spirit in Acts is not necessarily a one-time thing. I don't believe that at all. In fact, they're going to be filled at the end of this chapter again. And so we should be being filled with the Holy Spirit, as 1 Thessalonians 5 says. It should be a constant state, and especially when we're facing a challenge. The book of Acts suggests laying hands on people that they might be filled with the Holy Spirit again, be filled with power for the task ahead. It is a good old Christian thing to do, and to be especially. Well, there you have it for today. Acts chapter 4, verses 5 through 8.